Hello guys, and welcome to the Master Splinter or the Windripper Rat Totem guide. A build I've been running in the Harbinger League, Soul Cell Fund, by the way. I'll showcase a Phoenix map. I know I don't have any regals, this is on standard, I don't really have much, but you'll see the Phoenix map and I'll try and do the boss. Haven't done it before. If I die, well then I die, and that's that. But it should showcase kind of the damage potential and how it just fares in a high tier map. Anyways, here we go. Enjoy. Okay, let's just add everything up. Okay. First of all, I should swap to Lightning Arrow. So this build uses Lightning Arrow or Ice Shot as its main ability for clear. And it can use Barrage or Tornado Shot for its single target. Against depending on what you're doing. If I'm running Poorjoy, say, I would run Ice Shot for more consistent freezes. If I'm running, oh, that was a nice little detour. For general clear, I would run Lightning Arrow as it has better AoE. It is a what I've been using this for is for a pretty good AoE mapping build. Decent mobility. Good clear. Somewhat safe, I would say, for hardcore. Like we get almost 7k life. We get good AoE clear. Good mobility. Got the blink arrow. We got all the cold pen. So you can run like almost any mod. I've been running double triple damage mods in any like in let's see, T11s to 14s, a few 15s, but the 15s are not that great right now I feel, so I don't run too many of those. But that's not because I can't. I've ran Courtyard with double boss extra damage and they were all ghosted and we did that on hardcore. So that was fun, but it wasn't dangerous at all. Well, if I'd gotten hit, maybe it was dangerous. I don't know.
Can I not have
but yeah, keep up your Vol Haste for more movement speed. Keep up your potions for movement speed. This is all about like keeping up potions all the time as well, as is the meta. What you want to try and do is you want to try and spam the potions here, or you want to try and spam the totems a little bit, so that you can maintain the divination distillate for the more quant. So it's like a little game doing that all the time. Okay, so we went here. We're gonna swap out for the tornado shot. Gotta come in. Ooh. Ooh. Honestly, I would probably use a mana potion. We might do that in a second. Whoops. Let's go set up the mana potion. So we set up the mana potion instead. So this is a thing you can do if you don't have enough mana sustain off the potion itself. Swap to the mana potion. It's pretty neat, at least. Oh, that hurts. Oh. Oh, scary. We get a potion. Ah. Okay. I've never really done Guardians on this. This build has never been meant for Guardians. So. Woo. This is my first Phoenix attempt. So you see me struggle a little bit, but that's okay. Come on, get him. Please.
I have nothing more.
We got him. Yay! Ooh, and we got the amulet. Nice. Okay, so that was my first Phoenix attempt ever on this build. It went okay. The damage was okay. Well, you can go barrage as well. I could have shown that. With a little bit of like testing and stuff, you can set this up. And the Windripper is more of a mapping bow. There are better bows out there that you can use. But as you can see, we could do it, so that was okay. The map went smooth. Yeah. So let's actually go over the build itself. It's always nice to see someone struggle a little bit. The build right here, we are Ascendant. We are picking the Deadeye talent and we're picking the Inquisitor talent. So some of the key things here, why we choose Ascendant. The key one is Deadeye. Deadeye gives you 1 additional projectile and it gives you Pierce. And it gives you some extra damage when the projectiles fly further, like some small far shot. So that helps as well. And that's the key thing. The Inquisitor is not too important, but it is the highest damage increase you can have if you can apply status ailments to your enemies. And that is a lot easier now because of the ailment changes where you can apply a very small shock or chill. And that's enough to trigger this. And then you can maintain the power charges yourself. What you could do instead as well, you can do Hierophant, but for the power charges. But I do think that Inquisitor is the best. People ask me, should you take Assassin? No, because Windripper has very high base crit. So these two are my favorite choices. And then you go with the Path of the Ranger, so you can start with a new location. So you don't have to go through these notes. Okay, so what I said with the Deadeye being the most important is you get an additional projectile. Another key part here is Rain of Splinters with an additional projectile. And the third part is the Skirmish with an additional projectile. Why I mention Skirmish here is because it's a very cheap quiver to get, so it's a great target to just spam a lot of Volorps on. You just buy them cheap, put on the Volorp, and eventually you'll get the +1 additional arrow, and you'll have 4 additional arrows, which is very nice. It is essentially GMP for 2 chaos, and you get an extra slot. Well, obviously you'll have to hit this, it costs a little bit more, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, you get an additional link. Links for this is range attack totem, obviously, wed and cold damage in a 4 link. So you have tornado shot or lightning arrow or ice shot or whatever you like. The choice of arrow is really up to you. You're not confined to either lightning arrow or tornado shot. If you want to run ice shot plus barrage, that's up to you. Test them out. Have all of them in your inventory. I've been running all of them and testing all of them out. These were my 2 favorites. They're the 2 most versatile. For single target, lightning arrow actually does more single target than tornado shot if you can line the boss up next to a wall and you wall bang into the wall, because then you splash all the lightning damage and it's great. Or not the lightning damage, but you splash all the damage of the lightning arrow, and that actually gives you more damage. So that's great. Yeah, so that's the core, right? You get all the so that's why we're going totems as well, right? You get the totems here, and also because you don't have to deal with reflect. Okay, so now we have that. A little bit more for the gems. Let's keep going over the gems. The 5 link would be cold pen, and the 6 link would be crit damage. The build itself lacks a bit of crit damage, so that's why it has it's really strong here. You can go weaponally as well, but then you don't have the shock or the freeze or all that. So I wouldn't recommend the the elemental focus, not weaponally, elemental focus. I wouldn't recommend that unless you are going against what I just did right there, Guardians, because then you need all the damage you can get. Outside of that, we have a Frenzy set up here. It's over here. Frenzy with projectile weakness and partial crits and curse and hits. And then Maim. Honestly, this one, you can pick whatever. I've been just testing a few things. Maim seems kind of a good meme, right? You get the Maim on there, they attack slower or whatever. It's okay. Ice Golem, summon that shit for the attacks, or the accuracy and the crits. Then you have your cast and damage taken with Immortal Call and Enfeeble, so that you don't get bursted down. You have your Hail Device, Wall Haste, and Frostbomb. Frostbomb and Wall Haste with Increased Duration, so that you have this nice debuff here longer and the Wall Haste longer. So you have more single target and you have more clear speed. And then last you have Wrath and you have Blink Air with faster attacks and faster proj. So you're really fast. and that's really nice, really smooth. Yeah, and that's the gems. Okay, so for the passive tree itself, you start Scion. Obviously, you go this way out. So let's say you start at level 1. I would tell you to go this way here. Honestly, I would probably go with Constitution first, and then I'll probably pick up Totem Seal. I would probably level with the skirmish and just say, okay, we're going to be a totem build, and we're going to be pathing to the left here, so we're going to get totem nodes early. So you might as well be totems. Range attack totem is a very low level skill, so get that. And what I would do, I would get a skirmish. You don't need a +1, and just have 2 totems and then a skill yourself. You can have a single target. Let's say you have like a burning arrow early on. I would probably do that, and then have your AoE skill on your 2 totems. So you just kind of you do the whole totem run while AoEing, and then you have extra single target when you need it. There's also something that bow builds lack in general. It's single target. So with double totem plus yourself, it's actually pretty nice. You pick up Totemic Seal first, then Totemic Mastery, go up here, Discipline Training, Elementalist, Catalyze, Devotion, come here. If you have good jewels, pick them up. If not, don't care. And then you go here, Ancestral Bond. Since you're probably going to be in a league where you can trade, I would pick up all the jewel slots here. I'll get some good jewels. And then what do? Okay, so you've gotten your Ancestral Bond, your jewel slots, you've gotten all this. This node up here is not too strong. Like I wouldn't bother too much getting these. Precision is actually very nice. I would probably get that very early. You also need dex early on, so get this one. Gives you movement speed, accuracy, attack speed. It's very nice. And then once you have that, don't start taking all the health. Just go this way down here, connect here to start with, and grab Fangs of Frost is incredibly powerful. I would recommend that. Go this way over here. Pick point blank early. Rangers need, or bow builds in general need damage early on, so I would pick this early. Go here, pick the health. A thing I would say in terms of when should you pick health, if it gives you more than 5% health per point, as you can see, these are 4, 4, 4, and then into a 10, right? So these essentially become, let's say you scrape off one of all of these, that becomes a 7, 5, 5, 5. So it's more than 5 once you have this one. So I'd recommend taking that, which is also why I don't recommend taking these, and I don't recommend taking this node, unless you need the int here with the attack speed. So then that's not bad. But that's kind of the general rule of thumb I go by. And then go up here, and by the time you get to like picking up all the stuff in the ranger, I think that's about when you can do the Mercy Lab. The Cruel Lab is something you want to do as early as possible to get Deadeye, and then Mercy Lab you want to do as early as possible as well. I would do Mercy Lab before I do Kitava, which is around like low 70s, high 60s, and you'll have this. Once you have that, you can unspec all these nodes right here, and you get another 2 points here. So it's really nice getting this node. Really, you get like, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 skill points right there, and you can just immediately invest them into all the damage. Would I go crit early on? You can. If you want to, then you would get King of the Hill, and you would get this, and you would make sure you have a diamond potion. But it can be a little bit rough going crit before going Windripper. So it's not something I really recommend. If you have a Taba, let's say, sure, you can run like crit in there. For leveling weapons, just quickly, since we're at the leveling part, Stormcloud Tempest is good. You can go Doomfletch and just build some like Doomfletch gear with like the Deed Bell and whatever, some fist damage on all this. Not too important. Whatever you like there, go with it. The key part is really getting to the Windripper as fast as possible. And then every single thing here is actually powerful, I would say. Every single cluster you can pick up is powerful. What I do, or what I did, is I picked up the health last. I really value having the damage output, making sure that you are going to be critting and freezing and shocking on every hit. The most important part is that you have good attack speed, good crit chance, a good mobility, so that you can just be nimble, move around, rather than having a high health pool. You're gonna have a decent health pool, right? You're gonna pick Bravery early on, you're gonna pick Golem's Blood, you're gonna pick Thick Skin, Heart of the Oak, you're gonna have Constitution, and you're gonna have Discipline Training. Literally some of the most powerful, if not the most powerful health nodes in the game, so you're pretty okay on the health. Okay, and then you can PUB this, and just like show power nodes, and it'll show you like, should you pick Primeval Force now? Just tinker with it, be a little creative on your own. There's not really a wrong choice here. If you have good jewels, jewel sockets are probably the strongest part. You obviously want to get all the notables, right? So just get your eye on a notable and just pick it, and then take all the life in the end. And then the build is pretty much done at like low 80 or high 80s, mid to high 80s. You feel like the build is complete, and then it's just stacking life on top of that after that. Okay, so that was the skill tree. Now we go over the gear. So for gear, obviously we have Windripper. Get a high crit roll, as you want to be critting as much as possible. And attack speed is important as well. Attack speed and crit are the two most key parts. Crit being the highest one, I would say. It doesn't matter too much. Get a good pair of rare gloves with some good stats on it, life, attack speed, accuracy, and whatnot. On the rings, you want to just get life, wed. Honestly, wed and flat cold is pretty much equal for the T1 roll, like for the highest roll. It changes kind of depending on how good your jewels are, what you've picked up at a certain stage, and how much wed you have on other pieces, right? If I have wed here, here, and here, flat cold damage becomes a lot more powerful. You want to have 2 opal rings, and then just as much flat cold damage as possible. You want to get at least 2 good fat accuracy rolls, at least 1 good one and then a mediocre one, and you're kind of okay. You want to get as much crit multi. Crit multi is probably the most important stat you can get on gear, if possible. So if you were to do essences, you would do crit multi essences if you have the money for it. It's kind of expensive. Okay, so for rings, yeah, that's life, accuracy, wet and cold damage. Same thing goes for the neck. On the neck, I would say you would want to get Biscos if you're mapping. If you're mapping, you get Biscos. Then you have Biscos, and you will have Divination Distillate, and you will have Windripper. Yeah, so that's a lot of quant, a lot of MF for not too much. And if you're really greedy, you can probably fit in some. What's it called? That MF ring with quant, I don't remember. Ventor's Gamble, you can fit some of those in, but that's a big chunk of that's probably not needed. You're already Windrippering and Divination distillating, so not really necessary. But if you really want to, you can. Helmet, Devotor's Devotion. If you wanna become the rat, the real rat, what you would use here is you would use a Rat's Nest. Again, even more damage, attack speed, crit chance. Crit chance is really nice. And then it also has movement speed. Movement speed is important, I would say. Rat's Nest is the second best helmet, and then Starcondius is the third. As Starcondius does not give you as much attack speed and crit, and no movement speed. So I feel like these 2 other helmets are better, even on hardcore, because you're really just banking on either critting or moving fast. Devotos has Chaos Rest as well, which is something I value quite highly. I was running double beyond all the time, and the Chaos Rest really helps on that, and also getting these nodes eventually. It's kind of difficult getting Wrath, because you need to get 155 int, so getting that is a little bit difficult. That's also why, like, getting these nodes here, like there's int here, and getting int here. All of that can be solved by getting 1 high int roll on gear. So all that can be solved by that. You have int here on the skirmish, which is actually nice. The mana regen and the mana helps sustaining. As you could see on the boss fight, it is kind of low on mana if you're doing the Divination Distillate. So for mapping, this is definitely enough, and it's kind of like a balancing act. You would maybe 20 quality this as well. I didn't feel it necessary, and I wanted to make sure it was up as much as it could be, so I didn't really do that. Skirmish again, yeah. That's what we're going with. You can go with like any other good quiver as well with a +1 arrow. Then you just only have 2 quivers, but you get a higher, like, you get higher life, you get more attack speed, you get more crit multi. You can do drill neck or a rare. It doesn't really matter. The single target damage goes down. I think skirmish is probably the highest amount of single target damage you can get, because going from 2 to 3 is a 50% increase in your damage, or is a 50% more multiplier. That's what people understand here, so that's what I'm going to say. So for single target, the skirmish is really nice, and you don't really need more damage for the clear. And having more totems out, and you can just spam them, and they're all over the place. They like clear everything for you, and it's kind of really nice. I feel like this works really well. Boots, get movement speed, and then just yeah, pair rare boots with life, resist, and movement speed as much as you can of all of those stats. And the belly, I think, is the best here for the chest slot. You can go Queen of the Forest if you want to move even faster. I didn't really find it necessary. You get enough movement speed here, and it's hard to fit more. It's really hard to fit more evasion in here. I really enjoy having the granite here. So you have armor here, and you have the granite, and you do actually have good granite. You have Sentinel, you have Sanctity, and you have Bravery. So there's a lot of armor already there. And then you get some good evasions. You have like a good mix of armor evasion, so that's pretty nice. Let's see, anything else? I think that kind of covers it for the build itself. Yeah, spam your totems, run fast, blink arrow, keep your buffs up, do the frost bomb on single attack, and try out arrows and see what you like. Variations. So let's go over some variations what you could do for this build. For the weapon slot, Tempest, as I mentioned, I really enjoy the cold though. The cold damage versions are really strong because you get to use Fangs of Frost and you have Frost Bomb. I tried out saying, okay, let's say I convert all my damage into lightning instead and go a full lightning build. It makes sense with Wrath and everything, right? And the Windripper has lightning damage already, but it actually doesn't provide you with more damage. At least if you're not shocking, or if you're not counting in the shock. It does around the same amount of damage, and on bosses you're not benefiting from the shock. You don't really break the threshold, and you get maybe like a 1% damage increase on the shock. But you miss out on all the freezing, and the freezing is the most important, as that gives you the quantity and the safety. So that's why I feel like the cold damage is the better version. You can use Lionized Glare if you're interested in more damage. You can use the Tempest, and then you would probably go with the lightning variation. And then I don't know if there's anything else you can go. You can do a prison setup. I haven't really looked into that much, but you could do a prison setup, I guess. And you wouldn't get these nodes, because maybe you would, I don't know. A prison setup I can't really speak too much to. I haven't theory crafted it, but you could probably do that as well. And that would probably do the most damage. Either a prison setup or a harbinger where you do conversion. If you want to do conversion with either a harbinger bow or a lion eyes, you would get Witcher Spirit for sure, and you would use Eye Shot instead of lightning arrow, and you would do full conversion. I'm not sure with barrage, but if you barrage, maybe you would need the cold or fist to cold gloves. Again, this is where you have to decide whether or not you want to go that route, but it's okay. Explore them. Maybe they're good. Maybe you can figure it out. Like, I would assume that they would definitely push out more single target. I feel like the Windripper is the better mapper character that I would enjoy the most. Yeah, chest slots. You can go Calm's Heart, limits you a lot on your gems. You could have, like, let's say Ele weakness on hit on the gloves. Then run the Calm's Heart and just have like a single frenzy somewhere. Like, you would have to find 6 jewel slots, or at least 5. This one you could take out, doesn't matter. But you would have to find a few jewel slots as well. You could also have like a jewel slot here, or not jewel slot, gem slot. You know what I mean, right? You can take out these two. Right now you lose mobility. Now you're blinking slower, but it doesn't really matter much. So you can definitely have that there. So you could have the frenzy here, maybe with GMP or faster attacks. Or maybe just Peacock here. Yeah, Frenzy Peacock and you'll be fine. And actually, that would pretty much be okay. You could also take out a cast of damage taken and then put in the Ice Golem up here instead, and you're good. And then you can run a Calm's Heart, have even more life, if that's what you want to do. I enjoy this setup more. And then there is the... there are 2 more chests, I would say. Queen of the Forest will be the one that you're going to run fastest with, but I don't really think it's that great, because you can't really stack that much evasion, because you can't really run the Stip Knight either, like, on top of this, and it makes you weaker against physical damage and spells. And then there's the last one, which is the Uriels or Udriels, or you know, that bear chest with the movement speed. There's this movement speed on that chest, which is, if you're going for damage, that's the one with the movement speed and the crit and the accuracy. Also have a higher amount of life. And honestly, if you're playing on softcore, I'll probably go with that one, just because more damage is nice. And then you get that fat accuracy roll that you really need, and you would have one less roll to care about here, right? That would be really nice if you could get that. Biscos here. You can also run with, there's one other neck here, is the Chill, the Breach one. I don't remember what it's called, but the Chill Breach one. That gives you blind as well. And then belts, well, no, I don't think you should run Headhunter in this, because you're never gonna apply ignites. If you're applying, no, you're never gonna kill with degens. The only time you run Headhunter is if you do degen, so don't even bother with that. I would just do this. It's kind of a, it's not too expensive, this build, honestly. Windripper is fairly cheap. You don't have to run belly. There's plenty of chest options you can run, and honestly, that's about it. That's about the build. Yeah, try it out. Good for MFing, good for mapping. Can be set up for some good bossing as well if you really want to. It encourages some nimble play and some good potion management. I had a lot of fun with it until I hit the Fable box, but at least we have the new box video out from Siggy today, so I'll probably be okay against bosses later on. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!